How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to That Car Vlog channel. If you don't know, I'm Andy, and this is my 1994 Dodge Dakota SLT. I almost called it an XLT. So I've been doing a little bit of work on this truck. It's needed a few things done this year. In the previous video, I approached this truck with an issue. No blower motor whatsoever. I could not get air movement inside the truck. So in that previous video, we replaced the blower motor resistor under the hood, about here under the hood. The blower motor resistor is a common failure part in these trucks, and so that was going to be the first, the easiest, and almost the lowest cost route to try to get a blower motor working again. Unfortunately, that didn't really solve the problem, but like I said in the previous video, I'm not all that mad about it because it is a common failure point on these Dakotas. So to have a nice new one under there with fresh wire harness running to it, really, I can't be mad about that. In this video, we're going to replace the actual problem, and that is the blower motor in here under the dash. And that is a job. You're about to see how bad a job that is here in a second. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the replacement of the blower motor in this first generation Dodge Dakota. And yes, this is a first generation truck for all those people out there that say it's a second gen. First gen facelift. Okay, so the blower motor resistor didn't work. It didn't fix the problem. I kind of figured there was a slight chance of that happening, and that there's an even greater chance that this was the problem right here. So here we have a new blower motor. Hit up rockauto.com again. I got me a new blower motor to put on this truck, and I just went ahead and opted for the one that's the motor and the fan, so I don't have to worry about taking that fan off. Plus, God forbid I get in there and there's something in the fan or part of it's broken, then I have to go get a fan. So I just got one with fan cage on it. Let's start the interesting process of taking the dash apart inside. This is not as easy as doing like that thing over there, which is literally right under the hood. No, this is going to be interesting. In fact, I think that thing, a 2019 Equinox, or is that a 17? I can't remember. That's a 17. That, I've already accessed the blower motor on that. That thing's easier. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. The blower motor should be somewhere right around in here-ish. Actually, this is the round part, so I imagine that's where it actually is. But you're not just getting this cover off. We got to take off a few pieces of dash work, starting, from what I could tell, with the ashtray. So we look up in here, you can probably tell there's a screw right there, Phillips screw. Is going to pop those out first. Okay, so okay, so that wasn't enough. I take this knee bolster trim off the dash because I have to access that screw right there, and that should get the rest of this dash piece right here down. Should. Okay, pop open the glove box. So we got the knee bolster off, got that other screw out, got the ashtray pulled away from the panel. It's not completely pulled out because it does tuck in behind here, and that's a lot more to mess with. I don't think this needs to come loose. I just took the screws out to check behind it to make sure there weren't any screws behind it. Probably don't have to take the whole dash apart because it looks like it's already cracked up in half, and I probably could just take this half off. But this is mainly to show how it's actually done. Now we'll just take this row of screws out of the top of the glove box right here. There is also a 7/16 bolt that attaches right here. And now let's see if this thing will fall out of place. I really hope it will. All right, what else did I miss? Okay, I think that's gonna do it. We got this dash panel with the glove box down. Just be really careful when you're doing this because there's a lot of stuff, you know, there's wiring running through here. But this right here should be the box. And let's see here. You can definitely tell that sometime over the past 30 years, this thing's already been taken apart at least once, probably to do this very thing. There's a screw missing there. And there's a screw missing right there. So this has definitely been apart before. Before I go any further, one thing I need to do is disconnect the lines from this right here. This is a vacuum operated actuator for the fresh air / recirc vent. So I need to take the vacuum lines off that. You can see there's one right there. And I believe there's one right here on the bottom. I need to pull both those off. Now, to remove that vacuum actuator, you got the two nuts screwed into the post right there. Now the nuts I'm using are 3/8. I don't know if that's the originals. These are not the original nuts, but take those off and be able to pop that vacuum actuator completely off of here. And with a little wiggling, there's the vacuum actuator right there. We'll set that aside. The reason I know that those are not the original nuts is because I was driving around one day and that thing fell off on the floor and I had no idea what it was at first. And I had to go hunt down some nuts to put on that, and I found those. So those are 3/8. Not sure about what the factories were. Okay, so there's supposed to be a bunch of 5/16 screws holding this case cover on, or case, I'm not really sure exactly. I got 2 right there on the bottom. Then we come in right here, you got 1 right there, and we got 1 right there. That's the only ones I can see that still exist, really. So hopefully it's just those 4, and that thing will come off. And here it is, the airbox cover is now out of the truck. I discovered a 5th screw right there. That was a pain. I'm starting to think there's a reason most of them are missing, probably on purpose. And this is the fresh air flap. It fell out, and oh my, look at all this wonderful stuff that's stuck to this thing that shouldn't be. I definitely had a rodent friend in here at one point in time. Look, there's more of that nest material that I got out of the hole where the resistor is. And here we are, we're in here now. We can see the blower motor, well, the fan anyway. It spins freely, it's not locked up. It's still bad, I'm sure. You can even see a little bit of the heater core right there, and what of it I can see looks pretty good. At least I know now how bad it's gonna be if that ever goes out. All right, so what we've got holding this in is 3/4 inch screws around the perimeter of the motor, 1 right here, 1 kinda down below there, 1 up top. And got me a heck of a system going on to get to it. I think this should do it. We have the hex driver. Plug that into a nice long extension piece with a disconnect on the end. And then we have this piece right here that adapts it to a socket. It's I think that should reach. And then there's the 3rd screw up top, which I had to take the long extension off of this whole contraption and wedge this thing in there between what looks like the inlet from the outside and the cage fan itself, and I think I'm getting that screw out of there. I don't like this design. And now the next part of the challenge, and I thought I read up on this. I thought the instructions were very clear, and maybe not. So this is a connector. This is where the blow motor plugs in at. I already pulled them apart. But look at how this wiring goes. You got your green and black right here. That's the wiring for the thing. It goes over the top and through there. And after what seemed like an eternity in hell, I finally got the connector pulled out of there. This is so terrible. That right there is the hole that thing goes through, and it's so tight in there. And this connector end actually ends up getting wedged. You can even see where it's been, I mean, that looks like it was scraping up against the firewall. That's insanely tight in there. I'm tempted to cut the connector off of the new one and just feed the wires and then re-splice them. But I'm gonna try not to do that before I do that. So let's see how that goes. Now, I did tie a piece of paracord to this thing for the sole purpose of tying it to the new one and pulling it back through there. And don't forget you got this rubber gasket right there that goes behind the blower motor, but you can't get that off. You can't separate that until you get the cord out because the cord runs through it like that. Okay, so yes, I have already plugged this thing and verified that it does work. Sitting here on the floor, paracord has been tied to it. Rubber gasket is in place. It actually just sits over the posts that the screws screw into. Let's see if we can get this thing fit through now. Okay, so now here we are at the end. Everything is buttoned up. I just gotta pick up my tools up. That was an absolute pain. So I ended up doing something that I didn't want to do. I had this bright idea, and it was a good one to start out with. You saw I tied the end of the wiring for the old motor to this piece of paracord, and with a lot of effort and shaking and cussing and all kinds of other things, managed to pull it through. However, when I was trying to pull the new one through, this connector just absolutely, I could not get it to feed through from the back to go over. And I tried and tried and tried, just could not. I was afraid if I tried too hard, I was going to yank the wires out of their pins, and I just did not want to do that. So I did something I never want to do to a brand new part. I cut it off. You can see right here where I re-spliced it. I cut it off, and then I grabbed some duct tape and tried to tape the paracord to the end of the wires, and I thought I had it good, but it still would not pull through the back there, and the paracord came out of the duct tape and all the way out with one nice pull, and there's no way for me to reroute it. So hooray. So instead, what I ended up doing was cutting the connector and running the wires through the same hole in the back but now it comes down. I can actually get my hand in there and pull the wires downward instead of running them over the top. And then I just splice them back together with those same watertight splices that I used under the hood for the blower motor resistor. And check it out, here we go. Ignition on. Oh, the buzzer works every once in a while. And let's activate fan. Speed 1, 2, 3, and 4. And off. So there. Now I have moving air in the truck again. What an absolute pain. Whoever designed this in here, I do not like that person. And as it turns out, this 1994 Dodge is just like modern cars. It has a whole HVAC box here that contains your blower motor, your AC evaporator, and your heater core all in one box that has to be pulled if any of those other two things have to be changed. Yeah, Dodge was definitely ahead of their time in the 90s, let me tell you what. All right, so that will do it for the replacement of the blower motor on this Dodge Dakota. Yes, the blower motor is the actual issue, and honestly, a bigger issue was replacing the thing. As you can see in this video, man, that thing was just terrible. I could not believe just how bad this was. In my mind, if I think a 90s vehicle, I think easy, right up under the dash, 3 bolts, you're good. Maybe on that 27 Equinox over there. In fact, that's exactly how it is. I had a Nissan hard body, roughly the same size, a little bit smaller. That was how you did it on that one. Just get up under the dash, take a few screws out. My Chevrolet back there, my 76, it's under the hood, it's on the firewall. This is insane. I do not like whoever decided that that was the way to integrate all the AC heat components. I don't like that person, but whatever, it's done. These trucks were built, sold, moved on to the next generation. So anyway, I hope that this video helped whoever out there is wanting to replace a blower motor on one of these trucks. It is a doable DIY job, but I promise you're not going to enjoy it unless you really enjoy challenges. Anyways, that's all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something today if you didn't know how to do it already. If you like what you see, you want to see more from me on this truck and the other things that I have on this channel. I do car reviews, sometimes car shows, things like that. Make sure you like this video, jump down there, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also follow over on Facebook and Instagram at that car vlog channel. I don't really do a lot of posting of things other than when videos go up, but they are 2 other great ways to be notified when videos go up, because sometimes the YouTube notifications don't always work. I have a couple of friends that tell me they don't get my notifications. So follow on those 2 platforms as well at that car vlog channel. Anyways, y'all, thanks so much for watching. There is going to be another minor repair video coming for this truck here soon, so stay tuned for that one. And then after that, it's going to be a video I don't want to make whenever that happens. Anyways, guys, once again, I thank you so much for watching. Y'all take care.